tank Jace, which is a pretty obnoxious.
My favorite. Love the graveyard Maokai.
Yeah, real yard vibes.
Oh yeah. That skin line was my favorite. It's like the first Hallow's End, I think, had Bewitching Nidalee in it as well.
Oh yeah, classic.
And definitely not Blitzcrank. God, that skin was so good. Anyway, Cocoon going to connect here as Duro is going aggressive. Ruler finding a hail of arrows as well as Smash going to have to go back quite early on in this one. It's going to be a little bit of power, especially with the amount of information given to Gen G.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be a little bit late. It's not going to make a huge difference, but...
Should be a swap though, right?
Yeah, it should be a swap, but it does mean you're just a little bit late getting the wave. I guess if you're stacking it up anyway and you don't miss any farm, it's not that big of a deal.
Yep.
But yeah, T1 have to swap in this situation. I think, I mean, even though it's like a level 1 fight, kind of very indicative when you're playing against two ranged champions and you have a Poppy of all champions. Like, very hard to provide counter pressure as a Poppy level 1.
Oh, popcorn chicken value here from Carrier. Love to see it. And Doran is in the mid lane.
Yeah. Just leeching some XP. See the slot in the top laners. We're not seeing that from Keen right now. I wonder if that's a factor because he knew Smash would be late. But he's already got 3 CS. And if you look, he's
he
so
got the
close
melees
to level 2. That's actually massive. Like, that is so rare for a top laner to be able to do that in a swap.
You can see Doran as well getting closer, but like you were saying, he had to actually leech off Faker, so that means that Faker now going to be behind on leveling just a little bit. Chovy should have that slight advantage in the lane.
It's crazy how much of a difference just a small thing is Smash having to recall and delaying being top lane can make a difference in these situations. And, you know, we've seen dives be a fair bit harder since the tower buffs, but specifically when we're talking about an Elise and a Maokai, 2 ways to reset tower aggro. Yeah. This is like the easiest dive combo in the game, honestly. So, Doran, no chance. You just need to leave. There's no turning it around.
And it's still a good gank, right? Because he can't walk up to the wave, can't get the experience as it crashes in. And Keen, you can see, just chilling out here. It doesn't matter that he's not getting these minions. Level 3 is getting closer. And in fact, 1 more minion and he'll grab it. There you go. And that is a very comfortable Cassante.
And Ona makes the decision to actually play for his jungle. So he clears his bot side. Now he's crossing up towards top. He's trying to deny as many camps from Canyon as possible. But this means he wasn't there to threaten a dive. And Keen is just getting so much experience off this situation. There's nothing that Smash and Carrier can do to him 2v1. And so we're going to see if this pays off. Ona is going to end up with a lead in the jungle. But Keen is going to end up with a massive lead over Doran.
It is a big gambit. As Canyon, that's a really nice buffer on the Bramble Smash, is now Keen. Potentially getting dove, but is looking relatively comfortable. And oh my goodness, that sapling actually doing a fair bit more than I was expecting.
With Canyon being there and it being a Cassandra, there's just no chance they go for it. So
it's a level 4 Cassante too. Look, Doran's still level 2, just hit level 3.
And they can actually force him off 2v1 because of the threat of the Elise. You land the Cocoon, Varus has the burst, and you end up just being able to reset the aggro. It is also, by the way, lethal tempo, so the on-hit Varus, Ruler going to have that extra magic damage and not the poke, and now Carrier.
Oh dear. Well, Ona is going to turn up in time as Canyon a little bit out of time there with the twisted advance. Going to have to flash actually to get out of danger. I thought that Canyon knew exactly what was going on there, but Carrier was able to get the jump on him. And Ruler and Duro just, down here in the bottom lane, denying yet another wave, taking 2 plates so far. Oh, man. And like you say, this is something that T1 have orchestrated. They knew that this was going to happen. It has now resulted in a 100, 200 gold lead, something like that. And honestly, probably not end of the world, but it's about what it means for mid to late game and whether they can deal with a Keen that could potentially run amok, unless he just straight up dies here.
He's a level and a half up. That's massive. They are looking to dive now.
Yep, Ona going to move in. Let's see what Keen can do. He's staying away from the walls, which is very important. Still, he's just dead. Carrier might be going down, but no. Ona picks up the aggro. And so first blood, a little bit of that feat of strength as they listen to everyone, and they've moved that to the first 3 kills now. If you haven't been watching yesterday or playing the game, that is how things have eventuated. And yeah, Doran has 7 CS.
Yeah. This CS, obviously not ideal, but if you look at the top, Keen is 2 levels up now on Doran, which is the most significant thing. I mean, at the end of the day, gold is nice, but it's not going to make that much of a difference if you're like a top lane that's been swapped on, but being this behind in levels, you know, if Keen hits level 6 and ends up in a 1v1 against Doran, it's going to be really rough. Then we see the dive again. Carrier played this really well, was really patient. Dashes and then moves out of tower range. The fact he doesn't need to use his flash even shows how well executed the dive was.
Kind of nuts that he managed to drop turret aggro at exactly the right time there as well. Really impressive stuff.
Yeah, really well played. I mean, look at this level difference. It's such a rough situation to be in. And the thing is, K'Sante is so tanky naturally, but Doran, you know, the tank Jace, you kind of build tanky, and you need to proc grasp to get those extra stats. So he is going to be pretty vulnerable for a while. And as a result, you know, grubs are coming up. I don't think T1 are in any position to be able to contest these.
This swap back is actually so beneficial for Gen G because they have then the very clear extra power. You can even see it
Look
in
at the health
amount
bar
of
difference.
squares. Yeah, exactly. It's so silly. And so, yep, contesting these grubs going to be a very, very difficult prospect, and in fact, not something that T1 are going to opt into at all. And Gen G now have just that natural control of the bottom side because they have that strong laning matchup that we learnt about. Still, Keria is a whole lot stronger than he would have otherwise been starting this lane off at level 1. And so let's see how T1 are going to be able to navigate it as they look to head down. It is going to be the lethal tempo on the Varus as well. Yep. Most of the time we do see lethality. I love watching Ruler play lethal tempo on his Varus.
Yep.
So looking forward to seeing what he's going to be able to do in the mid to late game.
I think it makes a lot of sense. A lot of ability to cut through some of these bulkier targets. You know, Ona, Doran, and Carrier will end up quite bulky, and to be honest, even Faker will pass squishy. And I think the range issue is like some games it's hard to play the on-hit Varus because, you know, you're outranged or you don't have a window really to auto-attack, but, you know, everyone on the enemy team...
Chains of Corruption gets the cleanse. And that is a really nice Cocoon. Carrier taking a lot of damage. Lit on fire now as Duro's chasing after him. The burn, the repel is so good. As Cease and Desist comes down, Duro gonna have to flash over the wall and he will get himself out. Killer Instinct comes down and Canyon was lying in wait. He has to flash out, but Smash should be able to keep himself okay. But Owner is now in trouble. He's flashing over some walls. Everyone nailing the flashes over walls, which is very, very nice. But still, that is a lot of F buttons on cooldown, or Ds, depending on who you are.
Yeah, some big flashes there, closing the distance over those rocks, but ultimately T1 able to answer back 1-for-1 in the skirmish. You see Juro trying an angle here, and it's just, you know, even though we're past that rough level 1, Gen G have the XP advantage, and not only that, they just are so strong in the 2v2. The burst damage available on the carry, he needs to get deleted off the bat.
That was actually so sick from Duro, being able to not only repel the Vault Breaker, but also land on top of Carrier, close the gap, land that Q.
And ultimately, only being there first and peeling Ruler away from Smash there does mean that it's 1-for-1.
Yep.
But easily could have seen that go more heavily in favor of Gen G. The power advantage they have right now in that 2v2 bot is just pretty massive. And they're already picking up the Hextech Alternator, which is a pretty massive spike for the Elise, just that extra damage on a champion who already has so much burst.
Still, pretty impressive how this game's gone so far. Incredibly close. And as we move further in, right, we've got 3 grubs over on Gen G. T1 probably wanting to equalize that, but it's not really a side laning game. Outside of, I guess, Chovy, whose Yone probably wants to be in a side lane, is, oh, Duro gonna get caught out there. You miss the Cocoon, you get punished so hard. And Carrier demonstrates exactly that. Yeah, still.
You get slammed into a wall.
Yeah.
Not the most enjoyable situation.
Heroically as well.
Yeah.
Adds insult to injury, I think. And Ruler stepping forward, and I think he can be pretty comfortable and confident with how this game has started for the Varus. Blade of the Ruin King should be coming in relatively soon, I'm pretty sure. Depends on whether he wants to change up the build, but that is often what we do see first for the on-hit Varus.
Yeah, I will say one thing is that Doran is stabilized pretty well in this top matchup. And in fairness, you know, playing Jason and Xante, it's pretty hard for the Xante to have that much pressure. Like, he definitely does have pressure in the matchup, but it's not like he's solo killing him. To see Keen use his ult early and get him low, but yeah, Doran able to navigate. I think ended up burning his flash there.
Yeah.
So that's down for now.
Plate Gold going over to Ruler as well as they take a third from the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, Gold's even, right? In terms of feats of strength, T1's actually slightly ahead, but it just feels like Gen G have had the pressure all since that swap, and now T1 looking for an angle bot lane, but it's a reset timer for Gen G, and they're heading straight towards those grubs on the top side.
Yeah, 6 grub win condition looking to be the case.
It'd be massive.
See whether they'll be able to utilize it. I think that grubs and feats of strength have been hit or miss when it comes to being able to use them to win the game, right? I think grubs has a little bit more of a clear win condition, right? You can just try and set up side lanes properly and utilize them well that way to gain extra tempo with the extra damage. As Owner is going to get caught by another Cocoon. Duro's kind of all over the place. as he actually buys some health there, eating the Ignite with his passive shield. Kind of cute. But Gen G still will be able to have full control over this Grub Pit. That should be 6 going their way. And those Void Mites going to prove difficult, especially with Chovy and Keen able to sit in side lanes. And the fact that Ruler can farm from a decent amount of range. Like, you aren't the Lethality Varus, which does farm a little bit more quickly, but at least from range, or safely, I guess I should say. But still, I think that this composition 1-3-1's pretty comfortably if they would like to take that out.
Yeah, for sure. The fact you have the Yone who can be going in the side lane, but also when Cassante gets 6 grubs, he actually gets a significant amount of tower damage and is so hard to like force out of the side lane, especially when there's an advantage over Doran. I think Gen G were just ahead in the play, T1 a bit behind. Like T1 committed Ona down towards the bot side, not realizing that Gen G had already swapped towards the top for the grubs. They were a bit behind there, and so Gen G had vision control, they got the damage on the Ona, and that's just enough for them to secure those 6 grubs. Now, Dragon up in about 30 seconds, and T1 do have the advantage here. You can see, look at the map.
Chovy not going to quite find the knock up there with the 3rd Q. Still unbinding the soul, as Faker could have actually taken the fight if he was able to get it worked out just right. But you saw dodged a whole bunch of what Chovy was trying to do.
He's dodging everything. Faker really clean with this. And, you know, he has pressure bot. We look at towards the river, there's vision control completely in favor of T1.
Oh, Vault Breaker doesn't connect, but there's a cease and desist onto Duro, but he goes up into the sky. There's the Keeper's Vertigo. That gets rid of Ruler, and that means that a sitting Spider there will be taken down by Smash. 3-1 now in kills. That is going to be that feat of strength locked down for T1. Only 1 more of those to go, and they will be able to claim it. Sandals should be pretty close, given the fact that Gen G just needs 1 more objective to lock down theirs. And that bottom lane outer turret is so close to dead.
Man, I feel like Duro was trying to actually get into... also get hit by the Poppy ult there.
Yeah.
He came down, trying to get away. He was like, that's his exit plan, but was a little bit late on it, unfortunately. And just not much you can do. At least typically not a target you want to prioritize going for on a buy because of the repel, but with no flash, able to just pick up the kill and take him out. But we see that T1 actually end up backing off. They don't have the pressure here, and Gen G able to set up for this dragon. Duro comes back on the map, and...
yeah, that would be evened out feats of strength. So there that goes. Mountain Drake goes down. Next one going to be Hextech. Oh my goodness, okay.
The big one. Pressure's on. They're bringing out the big dragons for this series.
Actually kind of works in T1's favor as far as being able to get around the map very comfortably as well. If you're trying... oh, ultimate goes wide there as Chovy might need to rebind that soul, and that ulti doesn't get him very much value at all. Canyon moving down, but opts out of going for anything.
You know, we haven't been super focused on the mid lane matchup, other than, you know, when we saw Faker lose a bit of XP to Doran early, but what we've seen in the past couple of minutes, Faker's just been dodging everything.
Yeah, man.
But clean. He's on point right now on the Victor.
It's like he's played Victor a few times before in his career.
He has he? Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good to know.
I think Victor is in his top 3, so that means that it's on like, I don't know, like 80 games or something. I need to actually double check that. It might be even like way higher. As I'll just go have a look. Orcs, can you entertain everyone for a moment? Maybe go through this replay.
Sure, so Duro does get the repel off, and he's just like, if he came down a little bit faster, would have got hit by Carrier's ult, but I mean, it's hard to time. I think that was his game plan, presumably, to take the free little getaway exit plan for the Poppy. Unfortunately, doesn't able to do it. It's good setup from T1. I think Ona was definitely trying to get the Ona directly, looking for him again.
Yeah.
Won't commit more. At least in terms of plate gold, big advantage to Gen G.
So Victor is in his top 10, not necessarily in his top 5, as that is Azir, Corki, Orianna, Ryze, and Ahri. But Victor is like 9, and he's played 48 games so far. The absurd thing is that Faker has played 100 more games of Azir than his 2nd most played champion.
That's crazy.
That is pretty silly. He's played 182 games competitively. From the stats that I've found here is Duro is dead. In the sky, actually, as now Faker could be suffering the same fate. Chovy moves over, lands that Q as a Chaos Storm. I don't think going to be enough to deter them. Great flash, as the flash is invested there from Chovy as well. Rebinds the soul, gets out just fine. 1-for-1 trade at the end of the day, and everything stays so even.
Yeah.
Oh, Owner actually looking for an opportunity here, but decides against it. Doesn't have cease and desist, remember. Used that on Duro just earlier.
He's actually, I think, got Chovy there, but he got Unbound Soul.
This is really intense.
Yeah, this is a lot of back and forth I feel like we've had in this game so far. You know, in terms of what they've achieved in macro, I think Gen G have had the edge, but T1 are getting the kills. We'll do see this play onto Duro here.
Oh, just walks the wrong way.
Bam, yeah. Bursted so quickly. You're so squishy as this Elise. Like, yes, you have tools to mitigate, but really able to get blown up quickly. And then here, you know, they saw the play before on a Faker. They have the TP coming in with a Maokai holding Faker still. You know, very hard for Chovy to miss, especially here. Faker's trying to dodge and just forced in uncomfortable position. Here, Ona commits the ult, but unfortunately, Ona can just do that.
Yep, Chovy actually making sure that he lands the Q by flashing on top of Faker after that flash did come through. So a trade of flashes evenly as now Chovy gets that control ward down.
It's a high value ward.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
We'll be able to spot Carrier out.
And we're seeing some big spikes come in, you know, double Blade Rune King for Gen G.
Speaking of doubles, Faker doubling the second highest damage in the game so far. Of course, Victor does get a lot of incidental damage down, but still impressive how much he's been able to eke out of the champion.
I think it's crazy, one of these things where you see that much damage and you think, man, he must be stomping lane, but Yone just has so much sustain with like orange shield, second wind, fleet footwork. Oh. It's like an even lane.
So the Sky's on cooldown, but does get the hammer smack back onto Keen.
Yeah, honestly, gotta give credit to Doran, considering how rough the start of the game was in terms of the advantages Keen got. We haven't really seen anything come from. Yes, there's still a bit of advantage in favor of Keen, but Doran has done a good job of stabilizing that matchup.
Yep, and like this is the difference between like, and the obvious comparison is Doran versus Zeus, but the difference between the two of them is that Doran just plays economy so well, right? He just doesn't have the resources, he just takes the abuse and finds a way to make it the least detrimental possible.
He's just a chill guy.
He is a chill guy, 100%. Right, and right now he's chilling, losing this feat of strength towards the bottom side. There's nothing he can really do about that, especially with 0 mana, as Chovy will get a knock-up onto Ona. The ulti going to be missing here as, oh dear! Don't know about that one. They do secure the Rift Herald, but that is a dead Elise once again. Flash forward, Chains of Corruption down, as oh dear, Smash gonna have to use the ulti and the flash to get himself out of there. Keeper's Verdict gonna be channeled, but Carrier not going to use it, and Smash gets out. Means that they win the kill trade, but once again lose out on the objective.
Yeah, I mean, Doran's just been having a bit of a rough one in this one, but we're seeing the barrel cosplay, trying to go for those high deaths. Chovy not had the best performance, honestly, missing a fair few off those skill shots. Not the typical thing we see. Hits one there, though. Yep,
gonna be able to land that Q as Keen's moving up. Carrier trying to defend his mid laner. Faker down extraordinarily low. Alcove gaming to come in as the flash goes forward from Keen, goes all out, and Faker is surviving. Phenomenal knockback there from Carrier, and Keen goes down. The unkillable Demon King himself.
He's been clean with it. Keen making a mistake there on the Keen Sante, not with trying to Chovy's looking though. I think he has the kill.
There's a great knock-up, able to secure it with the Unbound Soul return damage.
You know, maybe that's it.
It's a game of just 1-for-1s all over the place. I mean, it's probably not saying it at the top of your screen right there, as the 6-3 is putting in favor of T1, but it feels like these trades are so even.
Yeah, and they're going to see Dragon on the bot side coming out. We see Chovy doing a fair bit to Doran, but you know, with the context of that last play, maybe it's not Chovy missing, it's just Faker dodging.
Yeah.
Keen's also having those struggles. We do see a miss from Chovy here, though. Doesn't get the ult out. Just whiffs a little bit.
It's always Faker. Faker just knows where Chovy's going to go before Chovy does.
He's downloaded him. They look for Smash here, doesn't have cleanse, and they're so close to getting the kill. Willa tries to burst him with the piercing arrow, but here...
Faker called the cover.
나 별로 안 좋아.
Yeah, he says, I don't like it, not good, not good.
이거 나 피했어 일단.
I dodged.
탈만하다 이거. 살았다. 딴
I think I lived.
He literally said, call an ambulance.
Yeah.
But not for me.
Yeah, that's what he said. Direct translation there from Ox. I have confirmation from G-Sun that is 100% untrue, but it would be more fun if it was true.
That's the vibe he was giving off, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Canyon pretty impressed by Chovy there as well. And Canyon said, yep, this is huge. Especially with the fact that they are able to grab themselves the first Hextech Dragon. 4 minutes until the next one's up. Arakan going to be available there as well. I believe looking a bit voracious here today.
Wow, what a shocker.
Yeah, I know, but like they buffed it so that the Ruinous is going to be more likely in pro play, Orcs.
Yeah, we'll see how that takes effect, if it ever takes effect. But you see, so obviously T1's picked up 6 kills. 4 of them have gone to Smash, and that's kind of typical with a Kai'Sa, just able to pick up kills in these situations, but it's resulted in him being ahead of the curve, and considering, you know, we talked about how they have to swap, the bot lane 2v2 was weaker, we've seen Duro punish now, we've seen Smash mainly be the beneficiary. And as a result, this Kai'Sa's looking really strong.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, we were talking, and I completely agree with you, that Chovy hasn't necessarily looked as good on this Yone. He is 1.6k ahead.
Chovy is Chovying.
He is Chovying a lot. Like, it just shows the height of expectation that we have for this guy in every single game. It's like, oh, he didn't play everything optimally.
Oh, he missed a Q3.
So disappointing. Wow. Chovy's really struggling now these days, you know?
Yeah, it's been rough.
Yeah.
We do see Atakan on the bot side. 2 minutes 45 on the next dragon. I think it's helpful when you're wanting to play around the dragon and Atakan's on the same side, but it does get a bit messy when Baron is up. Although, I will say, we've seen, I guess, the nerf to the buff, where it now gives 200 gold per death.
Yep.
Kind of saw a little bit yesterday where teams are definitely being less aggressive.
Is it a nerf or is it a buff? Because they doubled the money.
It's a buff to the other team, so I think it's a nerf to the buff you get has been nerfed.
The objective buff has been nerfed, but the amount of gold has been buffed for the opposition. So I think Atakan's been buffed. I just prefer to say buffed.
You know? Like buff stuff.
Yeah, I like it. I like number go big. I'm a cookie clicker player.
Understandable.
Number go up is like the greatest. As Chovy gonna look for an opportunity here. Carrier taking a lot of damage. Has to flash.
So much damage there. I mean, this is what always sort of happens when you have like a squishy support, but you look at Carrier and he doesn't have Celestial opposition, so it doesn't have that initial damage reduction. But also got the Mikhails, which has a lot of value, but this is a squishy Poppy, and Chovy is 6 levels up. Oh,
well, there's the knock-up onto Doran. He can rebind that soul, but I don't know whether he can do it in time. He just explodes. And now, teleport coming in from Gen G, but they're 4 versus 5. Keen going to come down. Atakan still just hanging out in this tri-brush, getting aggressive. Control ward going to stop that ward from doing anything at all. As T1, they're going to try their hand at it.
Yeah, they need 30 seconds for Chovy up, and then he has TP, so the longer they stall, the better.
Yep, Grasping Root's going to be invested here as Keeper's Verdict coming down as well. Gets rid of Keen, and now Canyon going to have to try and push them away. He's relatively tanky, but maybe not tanky enough as Ruler standing his ground. The Chaos Storm is so much damage, and Smash dives in! Canyon trying to survive, but it's 2 kills for the Kai'Sa already, and the heroic charge into the turret. Keen goes down, triple kill for this Kai'Sa. And Smash, yeah, I mean, he was down in CS. That doesn't matter even a little bit. 1.6k ahead, 7-0-1.
There's the payoff. You saw the play starting to turn in favor of T1, but when Smash flew in, he just decimated Gen G. Now, Chovy's hovering, but I don't think there's much you can do here. He's trying something.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to back away. I think Gen G making a mistake there. Obviously, Chovy overestimates his ability to tank that damage. Ends up getting bursted out. But I think what happened after was honestly the bigger mistake. Oh, he's looking for Smash.
Yeah, well, Smash
is Smash.
Is Smash. He's actually going to be fine. Oh my god, okay. Well, he's going to be sent home. 200 gold going over to Chovy with the buffed Atakan.
Yeah.
And now he's still walking after them.
He is back on the map though, so I think T1, if they get the dragon here, they can be happy.
Yeah.
Obviously, a little bit more. So Chovy gets CC lock. The layering's really good. Well played from Owen here to give him no chance. And Fake is there to burst. But this follow-up play, so the goal for Gen G should be get them off Atakan, right? Canyon presses R, you've done it. They backed away. You don't need to do more here, but they overcommit. It's a great ult from Carrier out the fog of war, and at that point it's already too late. And now Gen G are hovering around Dragon, but T1 have the buff. This is dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. Doran over here to the side, Carrier close to him as well, and Doran just dives in the engaged Jace! There's a Chaos Storm wreaking havoc, and Ruler is dead already, 2 of them sent home, but no one dead just yet. Chovy gonna be executed by this gigantic Kai'Sa. King Dante, not enough against Smash, and Dura gonna have to flash to get out of the way. Ona chasing after him. As Faker, will he be able to land it? There it is, just a Q. Of course he can land that. That one's targeted. And Canyon running for the hills. Doran just going to make sure that he cannot contest this dragon, and maybe he'll just kill him as well. The last man standing on the side of Gen G, and that could be a clean ace if they killed him. They don't even need to, though.
I mean, Smash has just been so good in the cleanup, but also Doran just charging at Ruler, deciding, I'm just going to jump on you. There's nothing you can do. And the truth is,
0-0-10.
There's nothing to do. Yeah, he's
from like the worst start we've ever seen.
He's doing so well. He's getting so much value on this Jace pick. Remember, it was the first pick, and it is paying off for sure. T1 don't actually finish the dragon. They're like, hey, we're just going to head straight to Baron. We'll take that. Canyon has no flash. Is there with the smite.
All right, Canyon.
He's not there with the smite
he's not
anymore.
there with the smite. The smite is no longer an available thing. 2,000 health, T1 just being slow with it, as that piercing arrow not like the others. And so that's Ona locking down the Baron. So Baron, they deny the... wait, they don't actually deny Soul Point, but that doesn't really matter. They got the Baron buff now, and they might even be able to push just straight up these lanes and take them down, especially with their engage potential off the back of Smash being so strong.
This is just a great way to play the team fight with or without the Atacam buff, but Doran just knows his job. Just kill Ruler, and he doesn't do all the damage, but it results in him going down. And then Smash here.
Yeah. Smash calling out, kill Yone.
And then also outplaying the Keen Santa here as well. Great flash at the end.
Oh, man.
So clean, honestly. This is the guy you want to be 9-0.
Absolutely. And he said afterwards that they got it and we won. I don't know whether that means they won the game, but he might be onto something, to be honest.
Ice cold. 15-3 now. And again, like, T1 was getting the kills, don't get me wrong, but Gen G, it felt like they had the edge in what they were getting on the map, and the game's just been blown open. 6,000 gold lead, Baron and Pocket still. T1 trying to apply that pressure.
Close to 3,000 gold, the lead here for just Smash alone.
Yeah. And really, it's just, we haven't seen that value in the team fight. You know, we went to go and hit Varus so we can get a bit more DPS, but it feels like when you're in range to hit like the Vi or the Jace, they're in range to hit you, and that goes a lot better for them.
Well, Chovy could be in trouble here as he does dash back, avoids the Vault Breaker very nicely, gets a knock up onto Ona, but they're just going to continue the siege, and they may as well. Brambles coming on in, and it is going to lock down Ona. He gets Mikhail's there immediately as the ulti's going to catch out Carrier, so he's likely to go down. But Canyon finds himself pretty lonely at the front of this fight. Keen going to try and tank for him as Twisted Advance does bring the Jace forward, but he's not a target that you really want to be fighting. They need to try and kill Smash, who dives into the backline and looks for Ruler. He goes golden. Duro is so close to being okay, but Chovy's out of there. Cannot fight anymore. A 3 for 3. Honestly good for Gen G, but they're not going to be able to keep their base alive.
They just can't take down Smash. Faker gets a mega Arcane Storm as well. 5-1-9 now in the victor, and Chovy with no ult. Duro as well, who's super weak at the moment. There's no way they can do more. T1 get what they want and still maintain this massive gold lead. You see the replay of the fight, so you know, I think Chovy's doing a great job of setting up plays and then disengaging when he can. Gets the ult that Ona flashes, disengage before he gets CC'd, but then T1 are still so strong, Canyon can't really get out, and eventually the decision is made, Canyon, you're dead, just sacrifice yourself. But we see here in the ensuing fight, Chovy commits heavily on Ona, and Smash just flies in. Takes out Ruler, uses his Zhonya's, able to buy time. And then even though Keen gets a bit of value, he's just not doing enough, and Smash is shredding him way too quickly.
And Faker is doing so incredibly well at splitting up the fight for Gen G. They're always fighting on multiple fronts because he's using his ultimate to not only do massive amounts of damage, but also zone them all the way around the perimeter of it. And so Chovy wasn't able to meet up with Keen, and they could both focus a target. That just wasn't happening in these fights. He now has an Infinity Edge, so at least Chovy's going to be doing a bit more damage, but it just feels like the ship's kind of sailed as far as Gen G and being able to take hold of this game once again.
I feel like Yone is one of those champions where when you don't have enough damage to shred through him, he kind of feels untouchable. He's hard to CC, does so much sustained damage. He builds items like a shield bow to have that durability, but when you're kind of at this much of a deficit and Smash is so strong, you just get annihilated. You know, you go in and you can't stick in the fight as long as you want to. You have to unbind really quickly at any threat of CC because there's so much damage in return. You have Doran, who's just so tanky right now. It's so hard to cut through him. The fact that Smash has the Zhonya's as well and Faker as a Seeker's Arm Guard, it just feels like the outs for Gen G are getting smaller and smaller in this game. And I mean, the only sort of silver lining is that T1 are quite a while away still from a Hextech Soul, so they'll have to concern themselves with that anytime soon, but I don't think the game's getting any easier.
Oh, absolutely not. Especially with Baron up in a minute 50. Of course, Drake going to be up a little bit sooner than that, but I believe Baron is what T1 are going to be looking for because that could just help them straight up win the game. Good news for Gen G is that the inhibitor that they lost was mid lane, the easiest kind of to defend. As you've got Ruler now standing in mid, he would have been standing there anyway, more likely than not. And so Gen G are at least allowed back onto the map at least a little bit. Just don't know whether allowed onto the map is that much of a good thing because every time they go for a fight, they lose.
It's been pretty rough. The recent fights really been a struggle And I feel like picks obviously would be great, but it's kind of hard to get picks with their composition without fully committing to the fight. Like a lot of their ults, like the Varasol or the Maokai, you want in the fight itself.
Ooh, Keen. Going to be able to at least get rid of a fair bit of that CC.
And I mean, this is one of the powers of Poppy as well, is that you can just wind up the ult and just drop it. And now Keria is going to have it again in like a few seconds. Just the pressure, threatening that on a Keen, tower taken, more gold. Ruler still clearing the wave in mid. Feeling kind of insurmountable. And the question is, like, if you want to engage from Gen G, you know, Maokai ult can be blocked. Both the carries in the enemy team have stasis. Very hard to find an angle now. Ono will be forced away from this red buff, but it's a small consolation prize.
Yep, at least red buff will be able to go over to the team for the next potential fight. That does in fact come in. Dragon now spawning as the gravity well goes down. And Canyon will be able to just wander out of it. No worries there at all. Let's see whether there is going to be a fight for this Dragon or whether Gen G will cut their losses and just fight for the Baron, which I think is the more immediate threat right now. Ruler
the way it's tagged there, I was thinking, is he going?
Yeah, I know. Jonah Strong really making sure that we're on our toes here as, all right, not a lot of wind up there from Keria, but just says goodbye, Keen Sante. Down goes Chovy once again. Ruler trying to do his best here as they manage to take down Doran. He flashes over, but now he's out of the fight. Keen just trying to keep himself alive. And yeah, he goes all out, locks onto Smash here as best he can, but just pops like a balloon. Good night, Gen G. All of them taking a little bit of a nap here. Duro and Ruler out of there. They may as well just not be participating. And T1 looking to end this game number 1 with a bang.
See if Gen G can try and clear the wave, but with a super minion, I don't think it's going to be possible. T1 still have so much threat. Keria has flash. If Ruler miss positions, you can just get wall slammed.
Yeah, he has to make sure he stands as far back as possible. Gravity well goes down. Keria just trying to grab him. There's the flash heroic charge. That was gorgeous by Keria. His Poppy clean as ever. And down goes the Nexus. But 13-0 for the young man Smash. Certainly looking still exceptionally good here in the LCK Cup.
Smash had a fantastic game and played really well, and likely going to be people's front runners for POM, and I 100% agree with that. But I think you have to give credit to all of T1 because every